Alright, what's up guys? I know it's been a while since I posted any actual videos on this channel, but I did want to give a little summary of Season 28, and we're into Season 29 now. I will be posting more videos again this season. I stopped posting more videos after War 4 of last season, basically just because of mounting frustration with the season. The last video that I posted was the war in which I died to the Hulkbuster unblockable bug, interacting with the dexterity, so I was just kind of over it. Now this video is going to have some highs and lows from last season. I ended up dying 6 times. I'm going to show you the 4 deaths that you haven't seen yet on the channel, and then I'm going to break down kind of what I learned from all 6 deaths last season, because there's just a lot to learn with that, and I think that the best way to learn is to either make mistakes or learn from other people's mistakes. So this is a fight that I was really proud of. I certainly did not play it very well, especially at the beginning here. But I am fighting this Weapon X on Hazard Shift. Now, again, last season there was true focus on all of Mini Boss Island, so it couldn't Quake it. This would be a very easy Quake fight now. And frankly, this is a fight that I wasn't really sure who would be the best matchup. And so one thing that I've always tried to do is, instead of putting other people in a position to, kind of be a guinea pig, if I can, I'll just go ahead and be the guinea pig to save others the frustration if they end up losing the fight, and to save myself the guilt if I end up sending them with a matchup that's really not viable. Then at least I'm just killing myself. So here I'm in a pretty bad spot, but I know how to fight Weapon X, and if I just calm down here and only hit him during Incinerate phase, you guys can see that I've gained my Incinerate immunity, then I have this fight well under control here. But yeah, it's basically playing around the Incinerate and Poison timers, getting that Incinerate immunity, and once you do that, you just have to play around the Poison timer. So now I've got 9 seconds to do damage. I'm right back at an SP2, and I'm able to end the fight here. So I was really proud of this fight, this win, because again, it was kind of an untested fight. We weren't really sure who to go with. Later in the season, I sent Legacy with Magneto, and Magneto appears to have been, at least last season without Quake as an option, the best matchup for that fight on Node 49. All right, so here I'm giving you guys 2 additional Apocalypse fights that I was pretty excited about. Neither of these are super difficult. This is Professor X on Node 47. So this is actually a pretty good placement for Professor X. You can't Quake this guy here. It does have kinetic transference, and then it's also got Feet of Indestructibility or something like that. Basically, the moment the attacker gets to an SP2 or 2 bars of power, the defender becomes indestructible for just a couple seconds, I think. But it really just kind of counters magic, because she's been, kind of a meta option for this fight for several seasons with her really OP power control. Alright, so I don't mind here that he's at 2 bars of power. I prefer his SP2. It's very easy to dodge. Now, if you were to mess up, then you would probably get one shot, but I'm just going to bait this out again. Mind control has expired, so this won't be unblockable. I can clear his power. I'm going to go ahead and cancel his falter there, land a parry, get to my SP2, and with my, there's the indestructibility. And once I throw this SP2, you guys can see my power is just shooting right back up because I'm using mutant boosts. He does have indestructibility again, but not a big deal. I can just end the fight as soon as he dashes in at me after I cancel this falter. And yeah, I really feel comfortable using Apocalypse in almost any fight. He just feels so safe in most matchups. I can't remember if I've ever died with Apocalypse. I'm sure I have, because I've died with pretty much every attacker I've ever used in war, but I do feel really confident and comfortable with him. Alright, so here we have a Domino on node 51. Again, there are some other options that I think would be probably quote-unquote safer, but I can't remember that. I mean, this is back, you know, many weeks ago at this point, probably, you know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I can't remember exactly what the attacker options were for our battle group at this point, but I just decided that I was going to take this. I felt really good about it. And yeah, I mean, it does have unblockable SP1, and then it's also got the one where you can't throw, it's got Hurt Locker, so you can't throw the same special attack consecutively unless you like get off a heavy attack or something like that. But I'm going to be building up to my SP1. There I lose my indestructible boost, which isn't a huge deal. It's just really a security blanket. I do also have bleed immunity, so, you know, if I were to get crit bleed or something like that, it would have no effect, which is a positive. I throw my SP2, and now I just need to throw my SP1 here. She did cancel one of my debuffs on the SP2, which is, you know, always annoying. But that's what you get when you're fighting Domino. Ultimately not a big deal. I expected to get a lot unluckier in this fight than I ended up getting. I am trying to land a parry here so I can refresh the debuffs. Alright, there we go. We get to throw off the heavy to refresh the debuffs that I still have on her. And again, I'm going to be building up to an SP2 because of Hurt Locker. You guys can see the red 1 underneath my health meter. That was the last special that I threw, and I don't want to get degened to death, which is the consequence of throwing consecutive specials. So she did go lucky. That was actually kind of dangerous. I probably should have waited that out, but all is good now. I'm just going to do a dash back intercept. I totally whiffed, thinking that she's going to come at me, and she didn't punish there. I'm pretty fortunate. I don't think I'd have died, but you know, I did get a little bit lucky there. All right, so here we are going to change masteries real quick. And then I've got Torch against this Ebony Maw. Again, this is like an automatic Quake matchup now in Season 29 with the True Focus node having been removed because of the Kitty interaction. But last season, this is, you know, I think a relatively scary fight. If Maw gets to an SP3, since his buff, I can't remember the effects, but I'm pretty sure that he does like massive amounts of degen. So you really just want to prevent him from getting to an SP3, and because this node also has increased power gain and unblockable SP2, you don't want to get him. You don't want him to get to an SP2 either. So I was a little bit worried about this fight. I'm gonna want to land some reparries, and I can't remember if I went for the reparry strategy, if I just said, screw it, I'm just going to build temperature so I can't miss, and just try to bait SP1s. So there, you do see that there was the parry sign on the left side of the screen. He was just throwing medium, so wasn't able to get off an actual stun. There I get one off. I was a little bit slow to punish. I should have taken that SP1 on the block just to build smolders. But really, it's not a huge deal at this point. I have completely given up the heavy strategy. I'm not going to worry about knocking him down. I just want to get to my SP2. And I'm able to just nuke him here. There I got really, really lucky, frankly. Because if he threw that SP2, I would have been in some trouble. So 2 fights where I got pretty lucky. And that's where we kind of switch things off. So to this point in the season, I'm not sure what war this is. But, you know, we just had a fight where we did well with Torch. And so we're going to transition to this next war where we have a Jabari on node 48, Rage. Now, Jabari, you can't use Quake against her anyway. But yeah, I was like, you know what? Cleanse isn't going to apply to any passives. So, you know, I can use Torch with Nova Flames here. I have a rank 3 human Torch. I know how to fight Jabari. It's not really a huge deal. Basically, you can parry her or apply any debuff to cancel out her cleanse. And when you cancel her cleanse, it goes on cooldown for 8 seconds. So you'll see here, I parry, she cleanses it. I expected that. And now she's got that timer on the right side of the screen underneath the health bar. That's her cleanse thing. Now those Huntress charges, which are on the very far right, if they get to 10, then she goes into Huntress mode. But yeah, every time she cleanses, she gains a Huntress meter, and now she's in Huntress. I can't remember what it's called, but she clipped me early in the fight. It cost me about 50% of my health because of the bleeds. There I was about to get caught on an intercept, so I threw the SP3, which is fine. I still have control of this fight. She's got one Fury stack from the Rage because of my SP3, but it's not really a huge deal. She's killing my block at this point. So I really need to have a perfect fight here on out. Now, her SP2 is very easy to outrange. So I feel like I'm in a decent spot here. And I'm going full combos into the SP1 because I really don't want her throwing her SP1. I'll have to take it on the block because I can become ensnared. There I get the parry off. Alright, and I've pushed her back to her SP2, which is what I wanted. Let's go ahead and outrange this and then punish. Now I'm doing slow combos because I'm trying to get in as much damage as possible with my Nova Flames. Because cleanse is on cooldown, she's not able to cleanse that stun, so I'm able to successfully push her over 2 bars of power again, and this fight is very much in hand here. And yeah, I just am too slow on the dex on the heavy. So there goes another death. Very fun. We'll discuss the death and the mistake a little bit later. Towards the end of this video, I'll recap all 6 deaths that I had this season and kind of go over briefly the lesson that I learned from those in terms of like in-fight and just assignments. A lot of them were going to be assignments, new matchups and stuff like that that we weren't really sure about, and I just made a decision. Ultimately, it was a wrong decision. All right, so here we have a Mojo on node 54. It's the same node that I just fought that Ma at. And yeah, I'm going to use Magic here. I think that Magic is probably the best matchup for this fight. Even with True Focus gone in season 29. Once you can get to the SP2, if you're able to manage his prompts, then it's really a pretty safe fight here. And it's going to be a little bit longer of a fight because Magic, doesn't do the craziest amount of damage. But he has completed 3 prompts at this point, so I need to be careful. And really, I need to get a little bit lucky just to prevent... now he's completed 4 prompts. So I really need to fail the next prompt so I don't get a hater debuff on me. Or hater buff, I can't remember. Alright, so this is a charge heavy attack. This is one that I can definitely fail. As long as I don't throw a heavy attack and as long as I'm landing my parries and he doesn't feel compelled to throw a heavy attack, then we are good. Hold block is another one that's really easy to fail. Because he's got to hold it for like a second and a half or something like that, or you do. And it's pretty easy to just not do that. Now this one is throw a special attack. I am going to go ahead and throw my special attack here. Doesn't really matter because he's not going to get anywhere near that 5 completed prompts at this point. I have this fight under control. And, we're just going to get up to another special here and finish it off. There, special 2 is going to do the trick, and we're all set. So why did I show you that Magic fight, that pretty basic, easy Magic fight? It's because I wanted to show you that I can win fights with Magic, because this next fight is against Black Widow Deadly Origins on node 22. This has Power Snack, and she is really good here, but ultimately I made just a really poor decision, and I thought, you know what, with Magic, this is going to be a pretty easy fight. I'll just get a lockdown, and then we're all set, right? And I'll talk about the lesson towards the end of the video, but just watch what happens. I'm able to drain her power, which is awesome. So all is good here. I'm like, all right, she's good. Now, if she cooperates with me here, then we're all set. But I do something very dangerous. I go back out and back in, and then I am, here we go, back out, and she dexes me. She has Black Widow's Insight, so she has like crazy enhanced shocks, and she just one-pieces me. Again, we'll talk about what happened later, or the lesson that I learned a little bit later when we get to the other deaths, but I do go back into this fight with Apocalypse. You know, I think that Apocalypse is a safer option than Magic, frankly, just because he's so tanky. And he can do a ton of damage. Now, in that Magic fight, I was really careless with my backdraft medium intercept attempts. In War, you know, it's a lot smarter just to do, if you get him cornered with Magic or Vision, just to do 4-hit combos, back out, and then land a parry. Or even 4-hit combos, back out, and then throw a light attack to get an intercept. Because you can recover if you whiff on the light attack, you can recover in time to block or parry. If you're doing a medium, you're really at the mercy of the AI, the defensive AI. And, you know, it doesn't always cooperate, especially in War for some reason. So, alright, now I do need to worry about backup recovery here when she gets to 50%. That power snack pushes her over 2 bars of power, which is totally fine. Her SP2 has a ton of range, so it's going to really kind of push me back to my side of the screen. I am able to punish right away, but because of the dex, the precision mastery for dexterity, it gets eaten by power snack. Alright, now here she has backup recovery. I do believe that I have an invulnerability boost on, so it's not like the end of the world here. At least I think I do. I really can't remember. We're going to see in just a second. Yeah, so I've got invulnerability on, which makes this fight even safer with Apocalypse. This is probably what I should have done from the beginning. But in reality, I mean, this is a Dr. Doom fight. He can easily control the power. He's shock immune, so if you mess up, you're not going to die instantly like Magic did. So, you know, ultimately I played the fight carelessly with Magic, but I would, and it was very doable with Magic if I hadn't played it poorly. But you know, when I kind of evaluate and try to improve my planning, then I would say that this was a planning error. All right, so this next fight that I'm going to show you is another planning mistake, oversight. Now, this war was a war where Lizer, who was our Omega player, was completely unavailable for war. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, people will go on vacations in our battle group, or they'll just have something come up, and, you know, I really think that as a team, it is important to honor that and not rely on them. Find another solution. So we had several options for this fight, and you know, in general I feel really confident using Shang-Chi. He's an extremely powerful character, and I was like, you know what? I know that I can take this. I've got the guidance on. I can just apply slow, and I should be able to keep up slow for the entire fight. So that's what we do. We're throwing on the invulnerability just in case. But, you know, Shang-Chi does a lot to counter what's on this node and what Nick Fury can do in particular. With his cleanses, you can stack up those cleanses to shrug off bleeds instantly if you need to. Of course, the slow debuff is huge. So I apply slow first so that it lasts longer. Now I'm going to go for the unblockable. Now I'm going to go for, it looks like, alright, I went for the stun so that I can reset my Wushu Strikes, get off my heavy easily. I'm going to reapply slow here, so now I've got stacking slow. Get off a nice intercept there. I'm going to go ahead and reset my Wushu Strikes again, inflict another slow debuff. Alright, I apply the stun. Now here, I'm going to throw my SP3 because I want to get rid of that unblockable passive that he's got. because of his tactical charges, and he's under 2 bars of power. So I want to push him over 2 bars of power. It doesn't quite work. There I get tagged. I'm able to get off an intercept here. None of that really matters, honestly. I really just want to be able to... I need to keep up slow. Alright, so I need to get off another parry and then reapply slow. There, I've just made a bad mistake. Again, I need to reapply slow here. He's building up prowess. Alright, there we go. We're in decent shape here. Okay, so here's where the fight was lost. The whole plan going in was I knew that when I killed his life model decoy, he would shrug all debuffs. So I needed to be in a position where, I mean, really, it was just a bad assignment on my part to myself. But what I was thinking is that I could time, you know, a combo to push him over his life model decoy, so I could apply slow. And at this point, I really am at the mercy of the AI, because I'm gonna have to do this fight. You guys can see I'm like just completely panicking. I can't throw the same attack twice in a row. He's building prowess. I'm gonna take it on the block. It doesn't matter. He's gonna kill me. So that is a planning error. That was just really stupid to think that I could take that fight with Shang-Chi. You know, he is completely reliant on applying debuffs. And yeah, for slow, you have to do medium, medium. So here, this is also a complete oversight. So this happens like all the time in any competitive game, I think. But in MCOC, this happens quite a bit. I would refer to it as tilt. So I just died. I'm really pissed off, and I'm like, this fight was assigned to me. I'm pissed. I need to finish this fight. And you guys can see that I go into the fight at 50% health, which is, you know, we have a rule in 4 Loki against doing that. So just really, really, you know, poorly done there on my part. But here we have another Shang-Chi fight. We're going to go ahead and use those compensation items to top him off. And I've got this Dr. Doom here. Again, I mean, I would not say that Shang-Chi is the best matchup here. He honestly is probably up there after you guys see this fight and how fast it is. But yeah, I don't know. If you apply slow, then you don't have to worry about the Aura of Hazareth. So I am going to go ahead and apply slow right away. Then I'm going to apply the cleanse here, I presume. Yep. Alright, I get the unblockable debuff. I reset my Wushu strikes. I get the full dex on the SP2. He throws his SP1, but because he's slowed, I don't have to worry about the aura. I threw off my SP1 there because the encroaching stun timer was approaching. I don't know if I had any cleanses. I think that I probably did. So it would have just been shrugged off right away, but... Alright, so I've got the encroaching stun timer coming up, so I'm like, you know what? YOLO. Throw the SP2, and what just happened? Absolute insanity. He is a great champ. I love that champ. Alright, here is the 6th and final death of the season. So I assigned a Hercules to this fight, and it didn't work out. And unfortunately, we didn't have any other options. And so this was after a clean war. I was actually really pumped to finally have a clean war because I had been struggling this season. You guys have seen, but this is I had a decent amount of fights this war. I was able to solo all of them, and I was feeling pretty good. And then this happened, and I was like, all right, it's part of my responsibility, I think, as you know, the leader of the battle group to. You know, I've just got to do this. Like, it's just on me. I can't send somebody else into this fight, you know, to die. So, I did duel her several times. This is very possible with Magneto. What you want to do is hit into her block and reduce her sync shield charges. You can see they're at 67 now. And she's being, like, really aggressive, like, trying to intercept me and stuff. So the strategy for me in this fight is I want to build up prowess, but at the same time I want to reduce that sync shield to 0. Now if I can do that, then it's going to go on cooldown for I believe 20 seconds, which sounds like a lot of time. And in some cases it is a lot of time, but in other cases it's not. So I need to get to my SP3 here, and I need to continue building prowess. And basically, if I can cancel the sync shield and throw an SP3 with, you know, I don't know, 35, 30 prowess or something like that, then I'm going to do an insane amount of bleed damage to her. Now, per Spider Sense charge, you guys can see that she just got 6. She gets +4 for throwing an SP1. She has what I believe is an 8% chance to auto-block attacks. Now, Magneto can't be auto-blocked. However, even if his auto-block, if her auto-block triggers, even if it doesn't work, she will power drain. So there you guys see that she power drained me a little bit. There she goes again, she power drained me a little bit. So you really have to be careful here. Now Magneto, I'm cornered here and I don't want to hit into her because I'm going to trigger auto block and lose my power. So I'm trying just to get some space so that I can hit into her block, but again, I'm cornered at this point. You know, you're in the corner, you have a lot of pressure, and I'm just freaking out. So every time I hit her, I'm just getting power drained. I need to be able to hit into her block. There I'm able to hit into her block. If I can just hit into her block literally one more time, I can cancel her sync shield. I keep getting power drained. And there, I thought that I was at an SP3, but because I got power drained, I fell below it, and I ended up killing myself from recoil. So, just really disappointing. And this would be chalked up really to not being very familiar with the matchup. Not only do I die in a war, a war that previously had been a clean war for me and a frustrating season, but I also am just going to do what I believe is the right thing to do, which is, you know, I'm going to take care of this. This is a war I'm pretty sure we lost pretty handily. Oh, yeah, against TCN. Yeah, I remember this war. Yeah, so they had nearly a flawless war, which is really interesting. But, yeah, so this war is over. And it's just a matter of getting this boss down. And, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like it's my duty to do that. So we're going to go back in, give it another shot. See if we can work this out. The PS1 boost, obviously, is just to try to help me to get to an SP3 as quickly as possible. Alright, so I'm able to cancel out her sync shield, but I still have 0 prowess. And she's not really giving me any openings. I can't punish her medium with the heavy attack. I can punish her heavy with the heavy attack. I just missed the opportunity. And there we were able to punish, get 1 prowess. I could have punished there with the heavy attack, but I didn't want to get power drained. So we're back at it. And this is a really annoying fight with Magneto. The best matchups in this fight in Season 29 are going to be Venom Pool, Venom, because they can't be power drained. So even when she triggers auto block, she won't parry you. And they can't be power drained, so they can't take direct damage or anything like that. Any of the stuff that makes her insanely annoying. They can't be power drained, I should say, by tech champs. And then another option, I presume, is Ghost. I haven't sent a Ghost personally yet, but it is believed among our Ghost players that Ghost would do really well against her, you know, properly boosted and all that stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and recap. First death against Venom on Divine Barrier. I got too scared of Divine Barrier. First time facing it, I was off last season or the season before this. Just Sin to Doom, that's the lesson I learned. Very, very easy fight. Just play around Divine Barrier. This one, you know, not a whole lot to learn. Really, I got screwed by a bug. It could have happened to anybody. Going forward this season without the true focus node on Mini Island, just use Quake or Magneto or Dr. Doom. You're going to be fine. This fight, use Dr. Doom here against Jabari on Rage. He's a tank. He can take a lot of block damage. You could also use like Silver Centurion would be a great option here. Yeah, Torch is just not the option. His health pool is too low, and your margin for error is very small. All right, this one, look, the way that you should be planning wars, and this is a lesson I learned from this fight, is you should plan to use an attacker or assign an attacker that can survive the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario against Black Widow is she shocks you. Use a Dr. Doom, he's shock immune, there you go, boom. Same thing here. Worst case scenario, he evades you, he shrugs off your debuffs. Use an Omega Red or use an Archangel, right? It's just not that hard. I just overthought some of this stuff. And then this one, you know, for boss fights, especially difficult boss fights, if you're planning, you should plan to have a couple options just in case the first guy messes up. So anyway, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you later.